Everyone, I'm going to talk about sexism and gender inequality. So, I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I want to make it better than this, but I'm bored and it's been running around in my head today, so I thought, what the hell, why not? I can always delete this one and remake it later, or just remake it later, keeping this one up. So, thing is with gender equality is that it is a complicated issue. It is not black or white. There is no right or wrong. Well, there are rights and wrongs, but there is no definitive right and wrong. Every situation holds its own merit. Sexism is defined as one gender, and well, not even. Sexism is basically discriminating against someone based on their gender. You can actually be the same gender as that person. And notice how I said gender and not sex, because trans people receive a fair amount of sexism as well. Actually, probably more so because trans people receive quite a bit of hate, which is not cool. Anyways, so this also doesn't. This also I said gender because there's also the genderqueer, which is they don't fit in the gender binary. They're either both or neither. So there's more than two genders to begin with. So there's that. So people do get discriminated against because they don't identify as male nor female as well. But then on the more popular side of things is the men versus women thing. Now, as a woman, you're gonna think, oh, she's some man-hating feminist. Find out I'm a lesbian, she is definitely a man-hating feminist, which is not true. Despite the fact that I don't want to date men and I don't want to have anything to do with them sexually, I'm totally cool with guys. Actually, most of my friends are guys because guys don't have drama and guys keep it real. And to be honest, I like just goofing off and don't give a fuck. I've been told I act more like a guy in a lot of respects than a girl, probably because I am a lesbian. But yeah, so girls that can get all like drama and blah, 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 and I hang around girls too much, I start getting like that because I'm still a girl. The more I hang around guys, the more chill I am and all this other stuff. And besides, guys tend to like the stuff I like more than girls. Not that being said, I do have a fair amount of female friends too. Now, as far as sexism goes, it can go both ways. A woman can discriminate against a man, and a man can, just like a man can discriminate against a woman. But a woman can also discriminate against a woman because she's a woman, and vice versa. In my personal experience, I have experienced sexism, but not in the way that you would think. See, my job for a year and a half before I started school this past September was working at a children's store. We sold everything from clothing to car seats to furniture to strollers. So the heavier stuff, like car seats, strollers, and furniture and stuff, was obviously needed to get moved around, do some carry-out, stuff like that. So despite the fact that the majority of the staff was female, they had what little male staff they have always assigned to that, and the women weren't allowed because we're fragile and going to get injured. Which I found extremely frustrating because I myself am decently strong. I have 3 years equipment handler experience. My summer job throughout all of high school was moving around generators, moon bounces, cotton candy machines, tents. Like, it was just a lot of heavy lifting and moving around, and like these giant inflatable slides I'd have to carry. Like, all the time the kid couldn't climb up, so I'd have to like grab the kid and climb up this like big, like, try climbing up a balloon with a kid in your arms. So obviously I'm strong and I'm capable. Not to mention I have full health. I've taken more than once the full health and safety training, so I am fully equipped. I know how to lift things. I lift with my legs, not my back, and I know what I can do and can't do, and I know if an object's too big, even if it isn't heavy, I need to get someone else to help me, and blah, 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 blah. I know all the safety protocols and everything else, which no one else in the company did, really, because this was a family company, so they couldn't afford to have the health and safety training, which is technically illegal, but they didn't really ever get caught. They just put paper notices up sometimes that no one paid attention to. Now, I would understand if they was like, oh, no, Catherine, you can't carry that. Let so-and-so who's, my age and, is a big, strong, tough guy, or like, someone younger but really strong and whatever. Okay, I can kind of understand that a little bit more because they are more physically able than me. I'll admit that. I'm not going to be just as physically able as everyone else. Because, I mean, the guy who's going into police foundations and is, like, visibly muscular in a loose t-shirt obviously is going to be stronger and more able to lift things than I am. But, I mean, I am still fairly decently able to lift things, so when the only other guy working that day is a 60-year-old man with a bad back, who got that bad back from his 15 years working there and lifting with his back rather than lifting with his legs the way I do, and a customer would like to purchase a 10-pound stroller, and an umbrella stroller, like it's 10 pounds, it's not heavy. And then I get in trouble from my female bosses and tell me to go get my 60-year-old bad back who lifts incorrectly coworker to do it instead of me, a 20-year-old with a good back, I suppose, I've never injured it, who always lifts with her legs and has full health and safety training, 3 years equipment handler experience. Really? It's like, oh, well, we don't want you getting hurt. And I'm like, well, he is far more likely to get hurt doing this shit than I am. I'm younger, so I can heal faster, and I, whatever, I'm just as strong as him, if not stronger. But no, still. See, the thing is I always find, like, why the fuck do they care so much about, like, so worried, like, I'm made of glass and whatever else, and they'd even get upset, like, when I was climbing down the stairs in the back room to, like, jump down the last couple steps. I do that all the time. If I'm, like, in a rush, like, a customer's, like, waiting on something, and I'm like, oh, shit, it took me a while to find it, and I'm, like, rushing out, and they all mad, and it's like, oh, careful, 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 you're gonna hurt yourself, but they don't give a fuck about what the guys do. So, I was really wondering about this, so I asked one of my coworkers that I've been working with the company for 25 years, and I asked her, what the hell is with this? I mean, come on, my employers, my bosses, my managers, they're all women, so why the fuck are they being so sexist? Well, one, the company was started in 1945, so it's a very old school company, and two, oh, guess what? They're all old school too, considering more than, I think, 3/4 of the staff were 60 and older. But she told me that also that is part of it, because they're very old-fashioned thinking that women shouldn't be doing any heavy lifting whatsoever. But really, that's not the case. Women are just as capable as men. Some cases more so, some cases less so. Depends on the person, not the gender. Anyways, and then also it turns out that private insurance companies, when it comes to employee insurance, when they get injured on the job, charge more for women. Yeah, turns out, in this day and age, they didn't want me lifting, because if I got injured, I wouldn't be covered, and it'd come out of their asses. Like, the insurance company. They charge one rate for men and one rate for men and women, or one rate for just women, and that's higher, but they don't offer that one really a lot of times. And I could not believe it. In 2013, in 2012 when I started with the company, they still were doing that. I just was, what the fuck? So as you can see, sexism still very much exists. And you see, in my case, it's not a case of like, oh, I want, the same thing without doing the same thing. Like, I've seen so many fucking pictures on fucking Facebook and damn LOL or whatever, where it shows like women's like, you pay for dinner, man. Oh yeah, why can't I get as much payment even though I'm not lifting as heavy and stuff like that? And I've seen so many of those things. It's not the case. And when it comes to me, it's basically okay, first, I am gay, but I've dated some trans guys, and before I came out, I did date a guy or two. And my philosophy on things, and my straight sister's philosophy on things, whoever has the higher income pays, or better yet, everyone pays for themselves, and unless, like you work it out. It's not automatic, oh, you're the guy, you're paying. It's kind of like you figure out who is more financially able. If it means that one person's paying more of the bill or what, and it's not like an assumption. You ask, you volunteer yourself to pay or something like that. It's like you don't go like, oh, well, you're the guy, I didn't bring any money. Like, okay, that's ridiculous. That is actually sexism. I understand. Men are subjected to sexism, and it's not fair. But the thing is that I hate guys who say, well, men get sexism too, so fuck you with your trying to fight for rights, because men are just as prejudiced. No, women are still more prejudiced in culture today. It's just that men are getting all pissy and shit like that, because they're realizing, well, actually, we have this and that and the other thing, and for some reason, internet has turned everyone against each other. And the problem is, with the whole gender inequality issue, is us versus them. Eliminate that. We're all just human beings. We're all people. We each have our individual capabilities, and there's no such thing as guys, like, I've heard so much crap, like, guys don't get injured as easily, or guys heal from injury quicker, or blah, blah, blah. Actually, guys have more pain receptors, so they get hurt more easily. As far as healing time, I haven't read anything conclusive and universal, like I've read saying, no, women have it here, or no, men have it here, or no, it's the same here. So I haven't actually found a conclusive answer anywhere. So I don't think that's the case. So, and yes, men's muscles are denser. So yeah, sure, they can be stronger some of the time, but someone who works out regularly, and, like me, I work out at least every other day, oftentimes every day. Because I have like my workout machines. I do my core one day and I do my arms and legs the next day. And since I started school, I've joined a bunch of martial arts classes. I'm getting extra workout there. So I am myself strong. And I, myself, when I've gotten injured in the past, I heal far faster than my brother when he got injured in the past. An injury that took me a week to heal, he would take 2 weeks to heal. He'd hurt a muscle and he'd be down for months. And me, I'd be only down for a couple of weeks. So every single human being is different depending on their genetics and their body's own tolerance to pain and blah 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 blah. Because let's just compare skin even. If you are very much Caucasian with a very pale, very fair skin tone, you know, the rose undertone rather than the yellow undertone, rose undertone being more northern, like Celtic, or British or Norwegian or whatever, versus, you know, more like for the yellow undertone that's kind of like almost olive skin, but like me, I'm yellow undertone. You can't tell from the sunlight on my face right now, and also the fact I haven't been out in the sun much because of school, so I've gotten really pale. But underneath it, I do have a yellow undertone because of my French heritage. So like people who are French, Spanish, Italian, they tend to have that. So their skin is just a teeny bit tougher. My brother inherited my mom's heritage, which is the Celtic, so he has really fair skin. He bruises really easily and he cuts really easily, and it takes a lot longer to heal than myself, who I don't bruise so easily, I don't burn very easily, and when it comes to cuts, they heal very quickly, and my skin is almost, it doesn't cut as easily either. And then if you were to compare that to a black person's skin, then that person's skin is even tougher than that, which is also why the fairer you are, the more easily you wrinkle, then the darker your skin is naturally. That being said, if you go sun tanning to make your skin darker, sun does damage your skin. So everyone is different based on a gazillion different factors. It also depends on how you were raised and how much your body had to heal growing up, so it taught your body how to heal faster, blah, 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 blah. Don't judge a book by its cover, and this video is ridiculously long, so I will end it here. I kind of went on a rant on my own shit, but I'll probably re-record and re-upload this properly. Anyway, so basically, don't judge someone based off of gender, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, race, cultural background, ethnicity, heritage, or anything like that. We're all just human beings. We're all just trying to get through this thing together, okay? Less us versus them, and more just us human beings. Bye!